All those opposed.
We're live. Excellent. Good afternoon. This is the October 31st, 2023 meeting of the Columbia 911 Communications District Quarterly Advisory Committee meeting. I'm Mike Fletcher. I am your host. Actually, I'm running the meeting initially until we do appointments of chair and vice chair. So in the interim, I'm going to do introductions for staff. I have Mickey Nichols, CFO, Danelle Hooper, Ops Manager, Mary Jo Beck, Admin, Merks Levine, IT, Nathan Hughes, IT. And in the room, I'll let you gentlemen identify yourself.
Kelly Niles, Oregon Department of Forestry. Josh Marks, Scappoose Fire. Ron Larson, Scappoose Police Department.
And online, Nathan, if you could call those out because I can't see them all.
We have Jose
Castillo.
Yeah, Grant, Tyler, and Will Steinweg.
Okay, very good. Thank you. We do have a quorum, so we can conduct some business. That's great. The first action is approval of the May 1st, 2023 meeting minutes. You should have all received in your packet. If you would please, I would entertain a motion to approve. Mary Jo did.
They were sent with the meeting reminder along with the agenda and Mike's report. Do you need a copy of them?
Recently appointed from Scappoose Police Department. I probably don't have, even if I'm on the email list yet.
We also have Corey from OEM joining us.
Oh. You.
I don't know if you have enough people here to those minutes, Mike. So I know I was not here for the May meeting. Neither was Kelly, neither was Ron.
Well, we can just submit them. I did check with legal counsel before this meeting because I had that question. I'm not too sure if we can do this because we have a lot of new people and most of them were not present. So I think what we'll do is just submit them. And if people have questions, we can always follow up at a later meeting. But thank you.
You still need a motion, Mike, to make that happen.
Just for the record, I think that'd be great.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting as submitted.
Second.
Thank you. That's been moved in second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Any opposed to the motion? Hearing none. Thank you. Next on the agenda is the annual appointment of committee members and alternates. In your packet, there is a document that looks like this.
No.
Nope.
No. All I sent was the agenda, your report, and last meeting minutes.
Oh, very good. Thank you. So the board approved the slate of primary and alternate, and I'll go down that list. Clatskanie Fire is Steve Sherrick with Bruce Halsey as an alternate. Clatskanie PD is deferred to the sheriff's office. Columbia City PD is primary is Jerry Bartolomeucci, and the alternate is vacant. Columbia County Emergency Management currently is Sean Brown and the alternate is vacant. The Sheriff's Office is Brian Pixley and Ryan Murphy as an alternate. Columbia River Fire is Eric Smythe as a primary, Jimmy Sanchez as alternate. Miss Birkenfeld Fire is Will Stegway with a vacant alternate. Oregon Department of Forestry is Kelly Niles with a vacancy for the alternate. OSP, both positions are vacant. Rainier PD is Greg Griffith and Peter Manning as the alternate. St. Helens is Jose Castilla and Doug Treat as alternate. Scappoose Fire is Jeff Pricher and Josh Marks as alternate. Scappoose PD is Ron Larson and the alternate is vacant. Metro West is Larry Boxman and the alternate is vacant. Vernonia Fire is Kendrick Leberton as a primary and Charlotte Tannery as the alternate. Vernonia PD is Sean Conahan and the alternate is vacant. Columbia County Public Works is Grant Dijon and alternate is vacant. Any questions?
One note is that with Corey being online, I just wanted to let him know that we can take action at the December board meeting to put him in as primary and Sean as alternate, if that's what he would like. And then
Okay.
we can bring that up in January to the advisory.
He's giving a thumbs up.
Perfect.
Thank you, Corey. Next up is the election of advisory committee positions. We're going to be going through chair first, and then I will turn the chair position over and let them run the meeting, but looking for a nomination. Who's not here?
This is Will. I nominate Kelly Niles.
Just not on there, right?
No.
So I second that.
Why? Kelly, do you accept that nomination?
No, right as I spoke, he's on here now.
So Jason McCoy has moved into St. Helens, so he's going to be the primary and I will be the alternate. So I will decline that nomination. Thanks, Will.
Anything for you, Kelly.
Looking for a second option.
You said Jeff isn't on there, or he is?
He's on there now.
He's on there now. Okay.
Do we have a change in the current chair?
That's what we're looking for.
Is the current chair not willing to maintain that?
Due to current legal challenge, the chair is no longer part of the committee. And neither is the vice chair. So we're looking for a clean slate.
Would it be possible for somebody to post a list of all the positions that have been filled in the chat? I know you read them out, but
Yep.
It would be nice to have a visual.
Yeah. I think we're electing all new positions, correct?
And there's only two, chair and vice chair of the current members.
I think.
So if Chief Pricher is looking for who the current members of the advisory committee, is that what I understand, Jeff?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
Okay, very good. Nathan, are you working on that? Nathan's working on that. And if the committee is interested, we can table this and circle back around and we can conduct some information business.
I'd like to make a recommendation that this gets tabled while your staff is working on a list for those of us that are online and move forward with the rest of the business. So we're not wasting time.
Great, thank you, Chief. So I would like to introduce Mickey Nichols. A lot of you haven't met her. She's our new CFO. I'm going to turn the floor over to Mickey and you can kind of give your bio and what you'd like to report on.
Hi, I'm Nikki Nichols. I'm the new CFO here. I came from Washington State, Orcas Island, Orcas Fire and Rescue as the equivalent CFO. I was called finance manager there. EMT firefighter, volunteering at Scappoose Fire. Been here for coming on 6 months now. Other than my bio, am unaware of what you would like me to report on.
So with the reinvention of the advisory committee, one of the things that my intent would be after whomever, if ever, we have a new chair, would be sitting with that person and develop what their expectations, what their desires are for the advisory committee. So right now, we're just flying by the seat of our pants here. So that's okay, Mickey. I'm going to turn it to Danelle for operations report.
Since our last meeting, we had some staffing changes. We had Alex go back to the floor full-time and Kirby was promoted as our training and certifications coordinator. We currently have 1 full-time lead, 11 full-time communications specialists, and no current part-times. We had 2 people successfully complete training, Rich and Jennifer. And I have 1 scheduled to start November 13th. She's what we call a soft lateral. She's got some experience at Newburgh Dundee 911. A little bit less than a year. And I'm opening hiring for entry level this month. Laterals are always open. We did participate in some training events and community events since the last meeting, some Burn to Learns, the annual LEDS conference, the 2023 National APCO conference, the fall APCO training conference, and all of our staff had in-house training this month. We've been also participating in some of the community events, the Columbia County Fair, the Columbia City Prepare Fair, the Clatskanie Health and Safety Fair, the Scappoose High School Military and First Responder Appreciation Night, and Halloween Trunk or Treat. Besides that, we are developing some new training in-house and using Power DMS, which is a public safety software platform. So we're just getting that going. And that's all I've got.
Anybody have any questions for operations? Hearing none, I'm going to turn it to Nathan to talk about our tech side.
Besides the normal housekeeping here, we've been working with the Magics Group and St. Helens Police and Columbia River Fire on designing the new MDC layout. So here in the next couple of months, we're going to be rolling out basically a whole new facelift for the MDC that'll make it a lot easier to use, work on a lot more devices, just overall better experience for you guys. And then just breaking this morning, we were working with Magics and we're going to be looking into bringing some of the CAD hardware into our office so that we have a faster connection. So you guys don't have to connect to us and then connect down to WACA and Clackamas. You'll just be working directly with our server here, which will also speed up the software in dispatch because there is a little bit of lag in some things. So good news, faster products and better looking products. Any questions? Yes, in like 5 years, they're going to be putting the full mobile suite on Android and iOS. So not anytime soon.
Was that a question on the,
Yeah, from Jeff,
what was the question?
iOS and Android support.
Oh,
Yeah, the question was basically, when you were talking about MDCs, you said that MDCs are going to be available on other devices. So I specifically asked, will that include Android and iOS devices? So thank you, Nathan.
Yeah, so when I say other devices, it's not really other devices. Right now we have, I think in CAD, there's probably 50 different configurations for all the different devices out there. We're hoping to consolidate down to 4 or 5 different configurations. So like right now, there's configuration for Surface Pros, GTACs, Panasonics. And they all have to have their own special settings to make them work correctly.
very good. Any questions, any other questions for Nathan? Hearing none. I jump into mine. I will tag on to the tech team's report. Part of their duties and responsibilities, not just the technology inside the buildings, but the buildings themselves, our sites, and they have completed the winter prep that we do. We do significant checks in the spring and fall, and so our fall prep for winter is complete now, and that includes all the PMs of the equipment, the generators, fuel, etc. And so we're set to go for the rest of this winter, hopefully. Speaking of sites, for the last couple of years, we actually started this process right as COVID started, which had a significant impact on the complete rebuild of the Meisner site. And happy to say that as of today, the civil portion of all the work is complete. Had a meeting this morning to start the coordination of transferring of equipment from the old shelter to the new shelter and the installation of all the antennas and sorted paraphernalia on the towers. So that's in play. We're working up a timeline and who all needs to be involved in that. We don't expect any impact to the users. It's pretty transparent how we do it behind the curtains. I will say that we're following the guidelines that the agreement that we have with ODF. They have a long-term co-location agreements with a varying group of people on that hillside. They have certainly diminished over the years, and we're working with those entities for a co-location agreement and keeping in the spirit that ODF had with those folks. We are working with a legal counsel on new agreements because there were none, and setting up some security parameters with those folks and everything. So that's coming to a quick end finally. With that is the last phase of our microwave upgrades. This has been doing microwave upgrades across the entire network for the last 2-3 years now. And the only site that is waiting to complete is the Meisner site. And that literally was waiting for the tower to be constructed. So that's there. Main conversations with them and I in conjunction with a wireless RF side to complete the installation of the new radios and antennas for that site. Next Gen Radio project, we continue to move forward. Federal engineering was completed, really the basis of a RFP. It's the body of it. It's in this case, since we're pursuing direct procurement, it's basically a contract. And so that document was developed with all of the input, all of our users, and then they worked and developed this document. It's 136 plus pages. It was submitted to Motorola earlier this month. And we have received some questions. It's just like an RFP where the folks that are bidding can ask questions. So we've been going through that this week. We expect to see realistically a proposal from Motorola probably the second week of December. Then federal engineering will take that and basically do the scoring, checking the boxes. Did Motorola meet or beat the requirements that we have provided to them? And then our expectation is, and we're not too sure how this is going to do. We're going to do this, but because it all depends on what the results of their scoring is. But federal engineering is contracted to come back to this body, the board of directors, to give their review of the submission, the scoring, and their recommendation. And it could be to pass on it. It could be to move forward. We don't know. So we don't know what that presentation is going to be or when it'll be, but we're expecting early January. There's a question is if, and it's a big capital word, if federal engineering believes that Motorola is meeting the terms of the contract, of the specifications and expectations, there's a potential of having the vendor actually here with them to do a co-presentation. We don't know. It's all up in the air right now, but it's a little premature to make a determination until we start seeing what the submission is. Another piece of information for everybody, our dispatch center, we have something called CPE, that's customer premise equipment, and that is directly related to our 911 phone system. And it is long in the tooth life cycle. It expired just after I started here, and then the state of Oregon, giving you some history lessons here, the state of Oregon, who collects the 911 taxes and manages those funds, basically overspent those funds. And so there were no procurements for CPE replacements for several years. And so we are the last of the people in line that are way past due to get our equipment replaced. We have all the equipment. It's been shipped here. It's staged in one of our buildings. We will be starting training for that new equipment starting in mid-November, late November. In fact, this room that we're sitting in will be one big training facility with telephone consoles around the room. We expect the installation into the dispatch center and cut over the first week of December. So far, we are on schedule. Folks that have transferred or done these forklift replacements in front of us, or some of our peers in the 911 industry, all have good things to report. Very few bumps, but there will be bumps. There always is. So we're trying to keep those to a minimum. Any questions so far? Rambling on here. The last thing I wanted to share with you is Columbia 911 belongs to multiple associations and organizations, and one of them is something called the Portland Dispatch Center Consortium. It's just known in the UASI region, it's PDCC. PDCC is made up of about 10 different emergency communication centers in this UASI region. And that organization owns a CAD to CAD enterprise service bus that connects all of these PSAPs together. PDCC recently, this past year, sent out an RFP for a resiliency study and report, and Mission Critical Partners won that bid. And so they have been going around to all the 10 emergency communication centers, and they're doing evaluations of our vulnerabilities, our risks for exigent circumstances where a center becomes either a smoking hole in the ground or they have partial disruptions of service, and how do they recover from those things? And so it's kind of like a coop, but it's a coop for 10 PSAPs that are connected to each other. And so they have been going center by center doing interviews. Nathan and I entertained them a week or two ago where they're asked very probing questions. You are building, take tours, they're getting all of our plans, and they will come back to the larger group with a draft report. We're estimating end of January, maybe February, and then we'll go from there. So it's all for our benefit for this entire community. And I think the last thing I mentioned was that several of you in this meeting attended the annual ODOT public safety winter preparation. That's always a good time because you're interacting with mostly a lot of public works, but all the police and fire agencies and the 911 centers that rely on the winter forecast, what to expect, and most importantly, the logistics of how we're going to keep highways and byways and roadways open, and how we all interface with ODOT and OSP. So that was a good presentation. I will say, Kelly, it was fascinating because they have their own let's say forecaster, meteorologist, just like you guys do. And I will tell you that the two predictions were completely different from each other. So it's fascinating.
How about the one I sent out?
Yes.
Yeah. We shall see.
Yeah. One of them's going to be right.
It's gonna be wet.
Yeah. Any questions that I could answer? Hearing none. Brings us to the end of our portion of the meeting. I'm going to go backwards and to the table of the election process. Did the folks online get a list of the participants of the advisory committee? Okay, seeing a nod from Nathan.
Got a question, Jeff?
Yes, sir. Based on the list that you provided, if I'm reading this correctly, I don't think we can proceed forward unless there have been nominations by agencies for all the people who expired July 31st of 23. Has that list been updated, or are all the names on there current?
All the names, and I can't see what Nathan supplied, but if he's running off the list that I have in front of me, all of those folks were approved by the board of directors at our most recent meeting.
So where it says term expires 7/31/23, that is not accurate.
It did expire.
Didn't the board reappoint them? So the list actually.
Because it says right up there, need to be reappointed for a 2-year term that will expire on 7/31/2025.
So the actual document, those dates need to be updated.
Right. It was just highlighting the ones that were expiring July 31st of this year.
Yep.
Okay. Well, seeing as there are so few members here, I don't really think it's appropriate to nominate anyone until we have more members, especially if we're going to do the thing where you nominate somebody that's not here.
Yes.
Just because they're not here. With everything that's going on, I think it's very important that whoever fills that role does so seriously with all the things that are happening in this current environment.
Totally respect that and understand that.
So if you need, I would make a motion that we table this until the next meeting, or have a special meeting to address just this one agenda topic, but give folks ample time, either by sending out a SurveyMonkey request for, availability to attend this meeting, or something thereof. I guess if that's what's needed, I will make a motion and then state it appropriately.
I think that'd be helpful, Chief.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to table the meeting until an emergency meeting can be scheduled, either by email or some survey, to where we can have the majority of the members on the advisory committee present to pick a chair and vice chair.
Will Steinweg with Ms. Birkenfeld. I'll second that motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to table this meeting and the election until an emergency meeting can be scheduled. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Is there anybody opposed? And the motion passes. Thank you, Chief. Unless there's any new business or comments from the advisory committee members, leave it open for the good of the order. Hearing none, I will call the meeting adjourned at 12:32. Thanks for everybody who showed up today. Appreciate it.